Hey y'all, it's episode 5, Abandonment Issues. Let's talk about it. Um, a lack of intimacy can cause your partner to feel abandoned. It can cause trust issues as well. But trust issues also stem from a sense of abandonment, right? If you're with someone and they have a conscious, not even fear, they don't want to get to that level of intimacy with you, you're more than likely going to feel neglected, abandoned. You're going to feel like maybe they're getting it from somewhere else. Like, why they don't love me like I love me? You know what I mean? Like, when you're with someone and you love someone, in love, in lust, you're going to want those intimate moments, right? Whether it's holding hands, whether it's making love, doing the do, right? And if every time you reach for that man or that woman's hand and they're withdrawn, that's going to make you feel some type of way, right? Devil's advocate, what if they're afraid to be intimate because of past issues that they had with another partner, right? They're not a touchy-feely person. They're not an overly emotional person. They're not communicative, right? They can be withdrawn in a sense because, hell, the last person they loved left, right? So if that's the case, how do you work through that? And I know a lot of people will say counseling or what have you, but can you be with a person that's withdrawn in that way, right? Now, as far as the trust issues go, a lack of trust will cause you to not want to be intimate. Again, how can I be with you when you don't seemingly want to be with me? Now the brain is going to start working. Well, if you don't want to be with me, who you with? Who you with, cuz? Who you with? But, this topic can get a lot deeper. It can go all the way down to the environmental factors, right? If your man or your woman grew up and never seen love in their household, how can they effectively show you love, right? If mama or daddy was at work all the time, leaving the other one behind, when they come home, they're too tired. You never see them kiss each other. You never see them hug each other. You never see them hold hands. They're together for the sake of being together. And a lot of people are together for their kids, right? Which also isn't healthy, because what does that say to the kids? I'll stay with mommy even though she's abusive, or I'll stay with daddy even though he keep putting mama's head behind the washer and dry. It's not funny, but you know what I mean. Like, your kids are gonna grow up thinking that that's love, and you hear it all the time. If he don't hit you, he don't love you. Who? What? And I can't say what I want to say because I wish you would. But yeah, if that was a thing back in the day when I was growing up, not from my mother, of course, but not to say that she didn't have things happen to her, but women would literally say, if he don't hit you, he don't love you. No, if he hit you, his ass don't know how to communicate, right? And why should you be abused because he can't communicate how he's feeling at the time? Most men grew up thinking having emotions and crying and expressing themselves was weak, right? Look at the world today. I think if there were a lot more emotional or emotionally equipped men, the world wouldn't be in such turmoil, right? You have a bunch of grown babies, is what I call them. A bunch of men who are afraid to grow up. A bunch of men who was told they can't be emotional. Now they're suppressing all these things, and then they're taking it out on their significant other, right? Even in my own situation, right? I can give you 180% of the love I got to give, right? I can go over and above trying to portray to you that no matter what the last person did, I'm going to be here, right? But how can you accept that and know that for a fact when each time you were in a relationship, this happened or that happened, or this person cheated on you, or that person made you feel less than, right? Because you're not emotionally equipped, you haven't gathered yourself enough to know I have to separate these people, right? They're not all the same. Just because such and such did this to me doesn't mean she will. Just because this happened to me, that doesn't mean that history is going to repeat itself, right? And a lot of people will say they're getting therapy or they're getting help, but they don't do the work. They don't keep up with it. You know, life takes a toll. It gets busy. You may have a lot going on, but how can you love or allow someone to love you if you're not sure or not whether or not if you love yourself, right? If you loved yourself, you would make that time for the person that's showing you that effort, right? That valiant effort, this I never had anything like this before effort, right? If you're constantly withdrawn, one day I love you, today I like you. I love you, I like you. Like, that brings about confusion, right? Because think about it, your partner is going to feel like, how you love me yesterday, but you like me today. Like, and I get it. I know parents say this all the time to their kids too. I don't have to like you, but I love you, right? Well, no, motherfucker, you got to love me and you got to like me, but I need you to love me, right? Because love gives you that extra oomph. I can like you today and not like you tomorrow and never talk to you again, right? But if I love you, I'm going to keep working at it, right? And I think that's the fear that a lot of people have. They have that sense. You got to think about it. Did they come from a two-parent household? Were they raised by a single parent? Was that single parent always too busy and couldn't effectively show their love and emotions because they're focused on getting the bills paid, or, you know, whatever the factor may be? Or did they come from a two-parent household where mama and daddy didn't always get along, but they came together in love, right? Or was things perfect, you know? And nothing's ever perfect, but it's perfect for you, right? And even me, I think my mom used to always say, we're not going to go to bed mad at each other, right? Her and my daddy could cuss each other out like two sailors passing on the sea at night. But for as mad as one or the other was, there was still a good night. They still slept in the same room. Hell, half of the time I was in the room, right? Because I was the baby. I was spoiled. I was. But with all these factors combined, how are you going to open yourself up for that, right? How are you going to open yourself up for love with those trust issues and that sense of abandonment or the unemotional intelligence? Like, are you going to go see a therapist? Are you going to help yourself? Are you going to, like, what are you going to do? Right? Because no matter how you put it, hurt people, right? And your intentions may be pure. It may not be to hurt the other person, but if you're already feeling a sense of abandonment from past transgressions, right? You don't actively convey that to the new person coming in, and they're wondering why they're pouring so much into you and getting 10% of that back, right? Work always comes first. Other elements in your life always come first. It never seems like there's a space for the person that you're trying to bring in. You're trying to bring them in, but you're not giving them room to stay, right? Yes, baby, I love you. Yes, baby, I want to be with you. Hey, baby, what you doing? Working? When I'm going to see you? You gonna see me? It's like, but I digress, right? And I know these episodes aren't as long as I would like them to be, mainly because I lose train of thought, y'all, and I'm trying to prevent myself from rambling. Some of these topics, literally, I have a journal that I write the topics in. Some of them will have a paragraph or 2 pages that follows, right? And if I'm not looking in that book and reading from that book, I don't remember all my bullet points, right? But also, some of them are just one-liners. Topic, word. And then I just try to let it flow. But I'm not going to keep y'all because I'm trying to find a system that works for me, whether I record at night or in the morning. I don't have any wise words to end these off with other than seek the help you need. Don't jump into something with someone and you're unsure of either yourself or if that's what you want, because inevitably what's going to happen is when that person leaves you because they're not getting that 180 or 110% back out of you that they're pouring into you, eventually they're going to get tired and go, right? And then you always thinking, I knew this was going to happen. I knew they was going to leave me. You're already seeing the bad. So you're so far into seeing the bad that you never saw the good, right? That person has been there for a very long time. But you're so focused on what happened in the past. What happened in the past? What happened? I can't do this again. I can't do that again. I can't be in that spot again. Oh, it hurts so bad. Okay, you weren't the only one that was hurt, right? And at some point, you're either going to have to let go or you're going to end up by yourself, right? Because nobody's going to wait forever for you to get your shit together, right? Especially if it's a person that already has or have worked on themselves or already have their shit together, right? It's just like, well, I can't give that example because Sugar Baby's doing a lot better than me right now, but eventually if you're with a person that's been working and they're putting forth all the effort, just like with the job, if this person is working to get to be a supervisor, then you have this person that really don't give a shit. They just show up because they need a check, right? Who's going to get that position? And 9 times out of 10, the lackluster person is going to lose the job. They're going to lose their spot, right? Because eventually the light going to shine on them and they're not doing or getting the job done. They're not doing what they need to do to get the job done. Eventually, a new person has to come in, right? So don't dwell too long on the past. Don't dwell too long on, shit happens to everybody, right? It's hard to tell you how to come out of that feeling of abandonment without just saying go to therapy. But therapy doesn't work for everyone, right? You have to find your own way out of that hole. You have to make sense of things. You have to use your common sense as well as the knowledge that you've gained over the years. Do a pros and cons list, right? What are the odds of this person that's been here for X amount of time leaving me once I exhibit these behaviors, right? And if you don't want to be with anybody, just say that. Just say that you don't want to be with that person, right? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own way of being. Everybody's entitled to love how they want to love. But you have to find somebody that's going to either meet you where you're at, or if they're trying to help you get better, don't think of it as them trying to change you, right? And that brings up another question for me. I don't know, y'all can answer if you want to. A lot of the times people say, I don't want to be with this person, they're going to try to change me. Is that a bad thing if they're changing you for the good? Nobody can change you into something bad. You can allow yourself to not use your common sense and drift to doing something bad, right? But I mean, if I dress like a bum every day and this person comes in and they want to dress me up, right? They want to tell me what outfits look good on my body, right? Is that controlling to y'all? Or is that a person that's trying to uplift you because they know what will look good on you, right? And I think a lot of people get a lot of things misconstrued, and the glass is always half full. But it also could be half empty, right? You have to want it for yourself, and you have to want to help yourself, right? And I'm feeling that I'm getting into the rambling stage. I can't tell you how to get over that feeling of abandonment or that sense of neglect. But I feel like if you have common sense, you'll know what's for you when it's for you, right? You'll know when that helper has been placed into your life. And you'll have that spidey sense. You can't be afraid of everything, right? You can't be afraid of this one thing so wholeheartedly that you miss out on the one thing that could have gotten you out of that slump, if that makes sense. But I just be here talking to myself. Don't mind me. I'm about to go.